Hi, I'm Emily Edwards. I'm an art teacher, and I'm going to talk to you today about using QR codes in your classroom for a scavenger hunt. With the new one-to-one approach in my school district, one of the ways that I want to take advantage and utilize this is to help create some blended lessons inside my classroom that are going to use a little bit of student pace and student choice along with coming back together as a large group. One of the ways that I figure I can do this is through QR codes. What I did is I first created with a lesson, because I'm getting ready to introduce Picasso and Cubism. What I did is I created a lesson that has a worksheet with some different facts I want the students to know to help introduce them to the topic of both Picasso and Cubism. It's front and back. Sometimes I have drawing activities, sometimes I have written responses. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have QR codes hidden around the room that they have to go and find. You can basically take just about any classroom material, any website that you're interested in, video, YouTube, things like that. As long as the site is not restricted by your school district so that the students are able to access it on the devices that they have or on the wireless so that they can use their own personal devices, you're going to actually be able to just use any QR code generator, and you're going to be able to link the website in, and you're going to download the QR code. What I then did is I printed a little QR code for each of the ones, and I actually labeled the number. So my question number 9 on here, so it says QR code number 9, it's going to answer question number 9 on here. So one of the things that I like is how the two link together, because for me, if a student was asking something like, where's question number 9? I can't find this one. We know that we're looking for QR code number 9. I think that helps a little bit with the process. So basically what the students are going to find is that these codes are hidden around the room. They're going to take their personal devices, and in this case, I'm going to show you this on my own phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my phone, and I'm just going to take a quick snapshot of my QR code. It actually recognized it on its own, and now a little screen popped up, and I can just click it on the bottom. If I do not have a phone that automatically detects a QR code, I'm actually able to do this through different apps. iEnigma is a good one that works on both iPhone and Android. So I liked that one if the students needed to download an app. That was a good suggestion because it was free and it doesn't have a lot of the software programming that some others do. So in this example, when I followed my QR code, it takes me to this photo. It's an example of an African mask, and it's also an example of a Cubist style painting by Picasso. So in my question number 9 on the worksheet, it asks, draw the shapes that you see that are similar to these two images. So I'm hoping that the students will start to compare the correlation of the masks and the African style masks and how they influence Picasso's art. And some of the things that they're going to notice that are the same are the very triangular shaped eyes. Nose. The very triangular shaped nose, how the lips are simplified almost into ovals and things like that. The eyes as well. The shape of the head is simplified, and everything looks like flat two-dimensional shapes that are just shifting in different planes. So we're going to talk further about that later, but I'm letting them kind of introduce the idea and get a little nugget at the very beginning. So then on here, the students are asked to draw those similar shapes. So they're going to actually go through and they might start drawing the shapes that they see that are similar to them. I am going to give my students the choice to work in groups on this so they can kind of team up. That way, if not everyone has a device, and if your school district doesn't have one-to-one, you aren't having any students that can't participate in the activity because they can kind of group up with other people as long as someone has a device that they can use. My school is one-to-one, so that's not going to be a problem for me. One thing that I really like about this is that once my students are done, they're going to go to a Kahoot that I created for them, and the screen's going to be up on the board with the Kahoot code so that they can get into it. With my scavenger hunt, what I'm expecting and anticipating is that students are going to get done at very different paces, and they're also going to find that they're interested in different portions or different questions. For instance, one of them is a video of the very famous Guernica painting. So if this painting, it's actually a video of it reimagined as if each shape was three-dimensional, and they're walking around it like it's a sculpture installation. So that's one really, really neat way to compare the two of a two-dimensional painting that was originally created by Picasso and a way that somebody reimagined it a little bit later and created their own version in a different style. So it also creates another level of conversation. I'm anticipating that my students are going to find different places that they're more interested in. Some activities take a little bit longer, some take a little bit shorter. So they may not all get the entire activity done. In our learning management learning management system, I'm going to be able to go through and take all of my QR codes after the activity and post them up in our learning management system, so our online classroom. That way students can actually go back and watch, like, or get access to these QR codes if they didn't finish and they wanted to see what else there was. But one way that I'm going to help control and bring them all back together, because their paces are going to be different based off of what interest and choice levels they're doing, when we go to do the Kahoot, I'm going to reintroduce kind of those key topics I need to them to understand about Picasso. So we're going to use the worksheet, and they can actually use it to answer the Kahoot questions, but they can also use that to help them if they missed something or never got time to get to a question. So it's going to help bring us all back together. And that's where this blended approach, I think, is kind of coming in, because my students can go in the directions that they find more personally interesting. When we're looking at the Picasso, they can take as much time or as little time as they need on each question, depending on their own interest level. And then those key facts that I need them to know are going to come into place on the Kahoot, and I can review it with them. So I think that's one way that we can use Kahoots and QR codes together in a classroom to help create a new interesting level of a lesson that previously wasn't available to us before there was technology inside the classroom. Hopefully this helped you out and you've got a good understanding of one approach to using QR codes inside the classroom that is going to allow you to try something new and innovative and exciting. It's a much better way to introduce Picasso than just a PowerPoint of some of Picasso's work. So I'm looking forward to doing this activity with my students. Thanks.